Yo, what's up guys? It's Elliot from Dumb Crush. This is how you play Moon in Pisces on the electric guitar. So, first things first, we're gonna start with 3 chords, okay? We're gonna play G power chord. That's a power chord on the 3rd fret of the low E string. We're gonna have A power chord, which is on the 5th fret of the low E, and then we're gonna play this octave E. So that's the open E string and the 7th fret of the A string. So what that's going to amount to is that opening movement. Okay, so those are our first 3 chords. G, A, E. Octave. Power chord, octave. Okay, so that's... Why is the moon in Pisces? Why does the league have a deal with Nike? And then we're gonna go to C power chord. That's 3rd fret of the A string. You can also play it up here. That'd be like the 8th fret of the E string. I kind of like alternate. In the studio version, I can't even remember what I did. If I played it up here, down there. In the live show, it kind of depends just on what feels more natural to move to. So then we're gonna alternate from the C. Where does the money go? To the A. Tap my phone, do those factory kids get stoned? So C, A, and then to the G. And then we're gonna take our pinky finger off of the 5th fret of the D string, and we're gonna place our middle finger on the 4th fret of the D string. So we're gonna have, where does the money go? And tap my phone, do this factory kids get stoned? So that's our opening movement. Then you repeat that for the why is the sky polluted. As you come to the end of that sequence though, we're gonna go to A minor. You're gonna play this open A minor shape. And I'm trying my best. And it honestly is like, it gets a little bit janky on purpose, which is when you're muting all 5 of those strings that you're strumming for that chord. So you're really gonna dig in on the right hand with the palm mute and play those accents. And I'm trying my best to understand. So it's supposed to sound like a little bit squawky almost, because when you play that open chord, it's got that nice ring to it. But when you're palm muting across so many strings, it just gets that tiniest bit of sort of like disjointedness to it. So we're gonna just open right up to that, for that open A minor chord. This next sequence, honestly, one of the harder parts of the tune. So if you have pedals, this is where I would engage them. So we really go from this cleaner tone to this more distorted tone. It's gonna be moving through this. So that first chord, now that we're into that distorted section, is a C major 7. You're gonna play the 3rd fret of the A string, and then the open B, and the open G. Then you're gonna play the 3rd fret of the E string, the open D, and then the 1st fret of the E string. So the chords here are, when the buildings fall to C, will we still pay the rent? C, G, and F. To have our melodic guitar part move through this, we're gonna be opening up some of those shapes and giving them some inflection by moving around the root notes while letting the higher strings ring out. So, 3, open B, open G, 3 on the low E, open D, 1st fret on the low E. If heaven exists, then what has heaven sent? and then we're gonna go. So that's open A, 5th fret of the high E. So that's also an A. So we're gonna just flip that A up by 2 octaves. 8th fret of the B, 7th fret of that A string. So it's open A, 5th fret of the E, 8th fret of the B, 7th fret of the A. And then it's the same movement, but then we played the 8th fret of that low E, which gives us that final C chord. Been told yet. So it's answer that seems correct is the one that we haven't been told yet. Okay, next section, we're gonna just play this lovely G major 7 bar chord. So that's just gonna be root note, 10th fret of the A string, and then we're gonna go moving up sequentially. So A, D, G, B, E. We're gonna go 10, 12, 11, 12, and then barring that high 10th fret. And these chords just ring out. What is your drug of choosing? Where do you place the blame when you're losing? That's a C major 7. Really, really pretty chord, even though it's so distorted. So that's 10th fret of the D, 12th fret of the G, 12th fret of the B. That's 10th fret of the D, 12th fret of the G, 12th fret of the B. So it's sliding into that A minor 7. So that's going to be 7th fret of the D, 9th fret of the G, 8th fret of the B. So that's 7th fret of the D, 9th fret of the G, 8th fret of the B. Pushing a bygone hope like a TV host who hates bringing the nation down. And then you go back to that G major 7, and then you're going to arpeggiate. What's gotten into people? Does Hollywood know that we don't want a sequel? When one says the whole damn thing in a way that brings out the shittiest kids in town. Now we're gonna go again, A minor 7, but with a different voicing. So instead of using this shape, we're gonna use this shape. So we're gonna go 12th fret. So for this A minor 7 shape, we're gonna play 12th fret of the A string, and then we're gonna stack 10 on the D, 12 on the G, and 12 on the B to get this nice. I'm trying my best to understand shots. You and I are the only ones wondering when the buildings fall. So that's gonna be 12th fret of the G and 13th fret of the B. Buildings fall. Then we're gonna go lowering this ring finger to the 12th fret. We still. Now taking this middle finger and going from the 12th fret of the G to the 12th fret of the D string. So we're gonna be going 12, 13, 12, 12, lowering from the G string to the D string on the 12th fret. So it's gonna be 12th fret of the D, 12th fret of the B, and then we're gonna open the hand, and we're gonna play the 10th fret of the D string and the 12th fret of the high E, and then we're gonna mute the B and the G string in the middle. So it's when the buildings fall, will we still pay the rent? And if heaven exists, what else heaven sent? And then we're gonna alternate 12 and 13, so that's 12 of the G, 13 of the B. The answer that seems correct, lowering to the 12th fret of the B, is the one that we haven't been told yet. Okay, so we've so far covered the intro, power chords, with the octave and that open chord palm muting. Then we have that first chorus, down chorus. And then we have our second verse. Then we have our second chorus. Okay, now we're gonna get into the solo, okay? So it gets a little bit more complicated. We're gonna have that same shape that we were using in the second verse, but instead we're gonna take our index finger and put it on the 11th fret of the G string and use our middle and ring finger on the 12th fret of the D and the B string. So what that's gonna amount to is give us the ability to hold that shape in place and start hitting that lick. So it's G, 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 D, mute, G, D, G, D, G, bending, whole tone bend, 14th fret to the 16th fret, and then pulling off to the 12th. And then we're gonna be using that same picking pattern, but in the lower section, and we're gonna go 9, 9, 10, 9, 9, 9, 10, 9, bend. So it's and then we're just gonna close out the song. Same shapes. And then in that final, and I'm trying my best, instead of hitting that A minor 7, we're gonna just play 12, 12, 12, harmonic, harmonic, harmonic. And then we play our chorus. Coming out of that, and then into Roko's Basilisk, which is all the fucking crazy harmonics and whatever, but we're not gonna get into that right now. Okay, so that's how you play Moon in Pisces. Here it is in its entirety.
Why is the moon in Pisces? Why does the league ever deal with Nike? Where does the money go when I tap my phone? Do those factory kids get stoned? Why is the sky polluted? Where do you point your gun when you shoot it? Shouldn't the athletes know that it's time to go without taking a pigeon down? And I'm trying my best to understand that you and I aren't the only ones wondering when the buildings fall. We still pay the rent, and if heaven exists, then what has heaven sent? The only answer that seems correct is the one that we haven't been told yet. of choosing. Where do you place the blame when you're losing? Pushing a bygone hope like a TV host who hates bringing the nation down. What's gotten into people? Does Hollywood know that we don't want a sequel? It wants us to hold damn thing in a way that brings out the shittiest kids in town. And I'm trying my best to understand that you and I are the only ones wondering when the buildings fall. We still pay the rent, and if heaven exists, what is heaven sent? The only answer that seems correct is the one that we haven't been told yet. Why is the moon in Pisces? Why does the league have a deal with Nike? Where does the money go when I tap my phone? Do those factory kids get stoned? And I'm trying my best to understand that you and I are the only ones wondering when the buildings fall. We still pay the rent, and if heaven exists, what is heaven sent? The only answer that seems correct is the one that we haven't been told yet.
All right, that's how you play Moon and Pisces on the guitar. Peace and love.